Welcome to the podcast by D Creator, powered by Howdy Analytics. Every creative, especially if you're in real estate, you know this rhythm, right? The high when leads are flowing, your content's hitting the mark. And then, inevitably, those slower times creep in. Confidence dips. You wonder, what went wrong? We've all been there. But what if there's a better way to handle this cycle? Not just get through it, but, really thrive. That's what we're diving into today, a solution.
Yeah, you've really nailed the core issue there. It's usually not about needing more tactics. It's deeper than that. It's about alignment. This deep dive into creator flow, think of it as your action kit. It's built specifically to help you apply these ideas, get aligned, and stay in motion. It's all about anchoring your message, your energy, your mission, guiding you through those kind of invisible stages between the big wins and the wipeouts.
Okay, alignment. Let's unpack that. How do we build consistency that actually sticks? Especially when motivation just isn't there. The sources we looked at make such a good point. Your brand isn't just built on the highs. It's really forged in those quiet moments, isn't it? The Instagram caption you almost didn't post, those weeks with low engagement, the emails you write when your head feels foggy.
Exactly. And this guide, this approach, it helps you keep showing up, not by brute force, not by pushing harder, but through alignment, through small daily rituals and simple systems. Think about brushing your teeth. It's low effort, right? But high return. Eventually, it's just automatic. Consistency becomes less of a chore and more just what you do, a natural part of your flow.
Yeah, and business, gosh, especially real estate, it's such an emotional roller coaster. One minute you're celebrating a deal, the next you feel completely adrift. I like how the Creator Flow Guide talks about naming the season you're in. Are you in success, confusion, or failure? And then acting based on that.
Right, and one of the most fascinating insights from the sources is how dangerous early, unquestioned success can actually be. It's so seductive. You hit a viral reel, maybe get a flood of views, new followers, and boom, you're chasing that exact same high again, trying to repeat the magic formula. But success is data, yes. It's information. It's absolutely not a GPS. And when creators treat it like a map, well, that's often when they lose their own internal compass.
Wow, so success can actually throw off your creative rhythm. That feels so backwards. The sources describe this pattern. You start chasing algorithms, not what your audience actually needs or values. Your visibility might go up, but your alignment, it drops. You get caught up in perfectionism instead of just keeping the momentum going. It's like winning big on one poker hand and then trying to play that exact same hand over and over, even when the whole game has changed.
Yeah.
This kind of winning without knowing why you won, it really can warp your rhythm, leads to overthinking, your identity feels shaky, you just get creatively tired.
It's a very, very real trap. And to make it concrete for our real estate listeners, let's look at John's story.
Right, John in Miami, real estate creator. He had this high-rise reel, went kind of viral, like 90,000 views, 800 new followers, got a few inquiries. So naturally, what did he do? He just kept making that same flashy content over and over. But pretty soon, it felt stale. Engagement dipped. And those leads, none of them converted. His brand got known for being flashy, sure, but not for substance or follow through.
And the big lesson from John's reel is so important. Virality isn't value. It's just not. When we worked with John, we helped him shift his message. It stopped being, look at this amazing luxury penthouse. And it became more like, here's how I actually guide my clients through these really emotional, high-stakes decisions. His reach got smaller, yeah, but the leads got so much warmer, more real. The videos felt less trendy maybe, but way more trustworthy.
That makes sense.
So if your content gets views but it doesn't get clients, you're just making a highlight reel. You're not really building a business.
Okay, so how do creators avoid that trap? How do you stay grounded while you're trying to scale?
Well, the creators who really win long-term, they aren't always the loudest ones. They're the most grounded. To scale without losing your soul, essentially you've got to go back to your roots. Your origin story. Why did you even start this? Who do you genuinely love serving? That clarity cuts through all the noise, even the tempting metrics.
Okay.
Second, track impact. Not just the analytics dashboard. Did a client send you a really heartfelt thank you? Did someone comment that your post really clarified something for them? Those qualitative wins, they often mean more than the numbers.
Yeah.
Third, let ritual shape your rhythm. Before hitting publish, ask yourself, does this actually sound like me? Before launching something new, ask, does this fit where I want to go? Or just repeat what worked last time?
Good questions.
And finally, do a quarterly success audit. Seriously. List out the actions that actually led to clients, or built community, or brought you clarity. Then focus more energy there.
That really shifts the focus, doesn't it?
Hmm?
Okay, so for you listening, here's something to chew on. If I couldn't see my likes, comments, or followers, how would I measure if this post or message was truly successful?
That question just flips the script, right? From performance to purpose.
Oh,
Because honestly, success without real intention, it always drifts into confusion eventually.
yeah.
But success plus self-awareness, now that is the recipe for creative flow that actually lasts. Which naturally brings us to that next phase we all hit sometimes, confusion.
Ah, yes, confusion. That foggy middle bit where ideas feel half-baked, your brand voice sounds off, unfamiliar. You start questioning everything. But the guide suggests confusion isn't the problem. It's actually a portal.
It absolutely is a portal. Think about driving through a really dense fog on a mountain pass. Your first instinct might be panic, maybe turn back. But if you know the road is there, you trust it'll clear eventually, you just slow down, stay careful, keep moving. What's so compelling here is that we often mislabel confusion in business as just a creative block. But usually it's a signal, a deeper signal. Maybe you've outgrown the old version of your brand. Or maybe you're trying to market something you don't quite believe in anymore. Or maybe your business structure just doesn't fit the life you want now. It's like a low battery warning time to pause, recharge, maybe reconfigure things a bit.
Okay, so how do we use that fog? How do we use it to refine our voice instead of just getting lost in it?
Well, first, audit your past content. Look back. Which posts really felt like you? Which ones felt a bit performative? Be honest. Then maybe try some journaling. Prompts like, what is this fog is actually a gift because? Or what do I need to let go of for my voice to feel true again?
Ooh, I like those. And simplify. Try boiling your core message down to just one sentence. I help this specific person do this specific result without this old pain point. That can really reset things when you feel scattered. And finally, voice test. Actually say your content ideas out loud. To a friend, into the mirror, whatever works. Does it sound scripted or does it sound soulful? Tweak it until it feels human again.
Let's ground this again with another real estate story. Emily in Boise. She was known for these really high-energy videos showcasing modern homes. But then the market cooled off. Engagement dropped. Listings just sat there. Instead of freaking out, she paused. She actually looked back at her content analytics, and she noticed something interesting. Her best posts weren't the flashy tours. They were the raw, honest stories. First-time buyer anxieties, seller regrets, client doubts.
Right, and her pivot was so smart. She shifted from, look at this amazing kitchen island, to something more like, here's what nobody tells you about navigating this process. And it clicked. Engagement came back. More importantly, qualified leads started coming in again. People who felt she really understood them.
Yeah, the lesson is crucial. When the market shifts, your message probably needs to shift too. Stay human. Speak from the fog, because chances are your clients are feeling it too.
And to help you navigate that feeling, the Creator Flow Reset system that we're discussing has some really practical rituals for when you're in that confusion state, like the flow card check-in. It just helps you label the season, okay, I'm in confusion, no judgment, just naming it.
Acknowledgement.
Then there's the Clary Stack exercise to realign your origin story, your core message, and your current offer with where you are now. And the voice reboot script has fill in the blanks to help rebuild confidence when you feel shaky.
And it's important to say, this isn't about throwing everything out and doing a massive rebrand. No. It's a reset, a refinement. Think of it like a sailboat, adjusting its sails to catch the wind differently. Just a soft shift forward. Which brings us to that part we often resist. Failure, or, as we're reframing it here, failure as feedback. You know, the leads that ghost you, the content that just falls flat, that sinking feeling of, maybe I'm just not cut out for this.
Ugh, yeah. It's so easy to feel defeated in those moments. But the perspective here is that these aren't proof you're failing. They're signals. They contain data. An upgrade, almost, that you couldn't have gotten if everything had gone perfectly to plan.
Exactly. There's this pervasive myth of the magic formula out there, right?
Yeah.
Like creators desperately chasing what seems to be working for others. But the real goal, the real learning, often lives in what doesn't work. In that post that got 0 comments, the DM that went unanswered, the webinar with low turnout, that's where you see clearly what wasn't resonating, where noise might have been covering up your actual message. So we reframe a flop not as an endpoint, but as a reset point. It gives you 3 signals. The flop signal itself, the feedback loop, what can I learn, and the future framework, what's next.
And there's a tool for this too, right? The Flop to Flow reframe sheet. It walks you through 5 steps. Step 1, name the flop, just state it. Step 2, feel it. Acknowledge the disappointment, briefly. Step 3, find the feedback. What tiny thing maybe did work? What clearly confused people or turned them off? Step 4, extract the learning. What would you advise someone else to try next time based on this? And importantly, what does this failure free you from trying again? Step 5. Write a reframe statement. Okay, this didn't work, but it taught me, all right, my next move is we. The guides suggest doing this regularly, like weekly or monthly.
And this isn't just theory. Let's take Alexandra, an LA luxury real estate consultant. She had this dead listing. A big 6-bedroom house sat for 6 weeks. Crickets.
Instead of trying to bury it, she flipped the script entirely, created a short video. This listing didn't sell. Here's why. That's okay. She walked through it super honestly, pointed out the quirks, why it wasn't right for everyone, and she used it as a teaching moment for first-time luxury buyers about spotting real value. That video didn't just get attention, it became a consultation funnel. She booked 3 solid buyer meetings from it within days.
The lesson is so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Transparency builds trust. A flop, when you make it visible with purpose, becomes fuel for something else.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating here is the deeper message beneath all this. You are not your metrics. You're just not. Failure gives you contrast. It helps eliminate options that weren't right for you anyway. It deepens your emotional range as a creator. And honestly, it builds creative humility. That keeps your brand relatable and real. Your clients aren't looking for some perfect, untouchable guru. They're looking for proof you've walked the path, maybe stumbled, figured out how to reroute, and kept going with integrity.
Absolutely. And all of this, handling success, navigating confusion, reframing failure, it leads us to the really foundational part. Building rituals. Rituals that carry you through all of it. Success, fog, flops, everything. This is where your message starts relying on a steady rhythm, not just fleeting motivation.
That feels so key because we all know that feeling, right? Your creativity ebbs and flows, and when it ebbs, panic sets in. But what if the issue isn't you? What if it's just a lack of a supportive rhythm?
That's the core idea. It shifts the focus to intention over performance. I mean, the biggest myth we buy into is that momentum always equals frantic output. Busyness. But not all action is aligned action, and not all slowness is a setback. Your performance, it's going to fluctuate. That's human. But the one thing you can anchor into day after day is your intention. And that's what daily rituals do. They aren't about going on autopilot. They're conscious choices, little resets that reconnect you with your why before you even think about the what's.
Okay, so what are some of these daily tools? How do we stay in that flow state even when motivation is low? The sources highlighted 3 really practical ones. First up, the Flow Day Planner. It's minimalist, helps you check in with your mood and energy first thing. Set just 3 core intentions, maybe 1 for your brand, 1 for clients, 1 for yourself. Track a micro win and gently face what you might be avoiding. It's like opening the curtains before you decide what to wear. You see the internal weather first.
Yeah, I love that analogy.
Yeah.
Then there's the Reset Rituals template. This is your go-to for bouncing back after a tough day or when you feel that burnout creeping in. It has things like a mood radar, a simple grounding breath or script, a quick 3-minute creative reset. It helps clear out that emotional static so your next action comes from clarity, not residue.
And the third one is the social intent calendar. This isn't a rigid content grid. It's more flexible, blending your emotional state with your message goals for the week. It uses weekly themes, has space for an emotional forecast. It keeps your messaging intentional, but not robotic. It honors that maybe this week isn't about selling hard.
Right.
Maybe, like the example given, during a slow week for buyers, instead of going silent, you share a quick, vulnerable voice note. Hey, things have been quiet lately, and honestly, so have I. Here's how I stay grounded when things slow down. You stay human, stay connected.
It's really interesting how these rituals start to replace raw motivation over time. They become these steady rhythm holders. They actually train your nervous system to relax into your role, into being this creator, this entrepreneur. Showing up stops being a daily debate in your head. It just becomes your default because the rhythm supports you.
Performance burns fast, rituals endure. That line from the source really stuck with me. That compound effect of just showing up with intention, aligning emotionally, that's real creative currency. So the question shifts, doesn't it? It becomes less, what should I post? And more, what rhythm will support the version of me I'm becoming?
Yes.
Not what trend, not what template someone else uses, but my rhythm. And this fundamentally challenges that old scoreboard definition of success, just likes, closings, how fast you're moving. That definition might not even fit you anymore because you're evolving.
Exactly. And that becoming process have its own seasons, just like the real estate market. There's a spring for planting new ideas, a summer for high visibility and action, an autumn for reflection and harvesting what worked, and a winter for rest, stillness, deeper recalibration. If you only measure success by summer standards, constant growth, high energy, lots of leads, you'll inevitably feel like a failure during the other, equally vital seasons.
Hmm.
True success is more like finding sync between the season you're in and the actions you're taking.
So how do we actively align our creative voice with who we're becoming, not just who we were? The guide offers 3 practical approaches. First, a voice audit. Ask yourself, does my current messaging reflect the me of today or the me from 6 months ago who needed more external validation?
Ooh, good question.
Second, a brand truth rewrite. Use prompts like, in this season of my life, I believe us. I stand for us. I'm releasing the need to. This can refresh your bios, your about page, your content pillars. And third, use energy-based filters. Before starting a project, ask, does this feel like it will stretch me in a good way or just squeeze me dry? And am I speaking from my actual truth right now, or am I just trying to jump on a trend? Your voice feels authentic when it comes from that emerging self.
This is perfectly shown by Faisal's story, the real estate advisor in Dubai. In 2023, he was all about the flashy, urgent offers, deal ends Friday kind of thing. He got some quick wins, yeah. He was burning out fast. So in early 2024, he shifted gears. Started a monthly real estate reflection email series, more thoughtful. Posted just 1 video a week, focusing on the emotional side of buying and selling. And he started adding handwritten notes to his client onboarding. It definitely felt slower at first. But 6 months later, 4 out of 5 new leads specifically mentioned his email series as the reason they trusted him, not his ads.
Wow.
The lesson is powerful. Long-term sustainable success needs that aligned storytelling. It's not about viral stunts. It's about building real deep connection.
That's such a profound shift in perspective. And to help you, the listener, really nail down your personal success style, the guide has this great exercise called the Success Alignment Snapshot.
Yeah.
You literally fill in the blanks. My current season feels like spring, summer, autumn, winter. Success in this season looks like the success style I'm consciously leaving behind is, and my new primary metric of success is. This becomes your personal scoreboard, one that actually feels good and true to you.
It's really about reclaiming your authorship, isn't it? Defining for yourself what you're truly building here. It's about stepping into an era where your creation is truer rather than just louder.
Absolutely. And to help you put all these ideas, all this reflection into tangible action, because this is an action kit, remember, we want to walk you through the bonus toolkit, Creator Flow Reset System. This is where the knowledge really becomes motion.
Yeah, let's quickly touch on these core tools. First, the flow card. Emotional GPS tracker. Think of it like a little one-page mirror. You quickly scan, check your internal GPS. Am I feeling energized, uncertain, drained today? And it points you to the specific ritual that matches that state. It's like Waze, but for your workflow, guided by self-awareness.
Love that. Ways for workflow.
Then there's the ritual builder. Daily and weekly tracker. This is more tactile. It helps you plant those micro habits consistently. Track your creative action, your client connection efforts, your emotional regulation practices. It builds that baseline rhythm day by day. It even mentions real estate-specific checkboxes like follow-up lead, content audit, warm message to past client.
Nice and practical.
Third, the reboot script. For the stuck days, this is like having a little voice coach in your pocket for when that inner critic is just screaming. It gives you fill-in-the-blank prompts. Okay, this didn't work, but it taught me. What I think I'm avoiding right now is, if I gave myself some grace today, I would simply. Super powerful after a setback.
Definitely need that sometimes.
Fourth, the clarity stack. Content anchor template. This helps you quickly realign your message when things feel foggy. Just 3 steps. Back to your origin, why you started. Nail down your core message. Who you serve, how. Connect it to your current offer, what you're actually creating or selling now. It's been called branding therapy for creators who crave integrity.
Branding therapy, I like it.
And finally, the flow check-in. Monthly reflection grid. This is where you look back over the month and mark patterns. Which rituals actually helped? When did burnout spike? What emotions were driving your best or worst content? Over time, this reveals your unique content seasons and teaches you to listen to your own internal rhythm.
And that toolkit also includes something called the Back from Burnout Content Reset Plan, right? A quick, gentle reboot. Yeah, it's described as a soft, 3-day plan designed to help you restore clarity, confidence, and your creative voice after feeling depleted. It focuses on themes like clarity over content, restore, then recalibrate, and create with rhythm. Helps you maybe archive old stuff that feels heavy, process what drains you, and then rebuild your content plan gently.
Exactly. Because ultimately, none of this is about just hustling harder or doing more. It's actually about healing the creator burnout cycle. These tools are designed to help you return to your own inherent wisdom faster, softer, and with much more clarity.
Wow. Okay, as we wrap up this deep dive, it really feels like we've covered the whole journey, from just getting started to truly sustaining momentum, staying in the room even when it's foggy, anchoring into ritual, and maybe most importantly, defining success on your own terms. Thank you, really, for choosing to build your creative work for alignment, not just for applause.
Yeah, this is deep work. It's soul work with structure, as the guide puts it. It's all about giving yourself permission to trust your unique creative voice and knowing, truly knowing, that you're not alone in this path.
So, for you, the listener, maybe here's a final thought to take with you as you move forward. What if the greatest act of self-trust in a world that's absolutely obsessed with external validation? What if it's simply committing to your own unique rhythm, allowing that rhythm to guide your growth, define your success, completely independent of all the noise out there? Decreator by Howdy Analytics.